Yes. And that instruction was given even before Prabhupada had finished offering Dandavat. Prabhupada had been taken by his friend Narendra to this Ultadanga. I hope Deepa Menon Mataji will join me, because Ultadanga is a place which is of such a historic importance for all of us for the movement of ISKCON. That Ultadanga was originally a rented property for Gaudiya Mutt. So eventually Gaudiya Mutt shifted to Bagh Bazar. So, but it was in Ultadanga, which was a small property rented by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, where this first meeting happened, this historic meeting happened. Do you see the screen now? Do you see the PowerPoint?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
So that is where that historic meeting took place in Ultadanga. And even before Prabhupada, he refused to go. Narendra insisted you should come, because when Vaishnava sannyasi has come, Prabhupada had no great impression about all these sannyasis, because his father used to bring every day a few people to take prasadam at his house. His father did not even care whether they are really genuine or not. And Prabhupada knew many of them were smoking ganja or cigarettes outside. They did not have good habits and all, but his father would bring anyone who was having externally the symptoms of Vaishnava, he would bring them for prasadam. Every day he would feed these devotees and ask them to bless Srila Prabhupada, that he would develop devotion to Radharani. So this is how Prabhupada's childhood went. So, and then this meeting, so he offered the obeisances, and even before he could rise, the instruction was in his ears. You are an educated young man. I want you to go to the Western speaking world and spread the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the English language. And later on, he added this instruction that whenever you get money, you print books and distribute. So these are the instructions. And Prabhupada never forgot. So this is the Utsaha Nishchaya Dhairya. Prabhupada writes in Bhagavad Gita also in the purport to the second chapter, 255. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha kurunandana bahushakahi anantascha buddhayo avyavasayinam. So if you should have one pointed focus, that is what Vyavasayatmika buddhi. If you don't have that Vyavasayatmika buddhi, your buddhi will become many branches. Bahushaka. Shaka means branch. Bahushaka, many branches. Meaning your senses will offer so many opportunities to enjoy. And because you don't have one pointed attention, you don't have a single goal, your mind will be scattered. Bahushaka hi anantashta buddha, your intelligence will be scattered. How intelligence gets scattered? Because mind takes control. And mind is taken control of by the senses. The senses are controlled by so many sense objects, like that the branches expand. Unlimited sense objects, the senses, the mind, and buddhi simply begins to run behind these things and then lost. So, but that one pointed attention, that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, that should be the Guru's instruction. The one pointed attention means, just 1 second, let me close the doors. That one pointed attention comes when you accept the instructions of spiritual master as your life and soul. This is what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur had written. And that caught Prabhupada, And Prabhupada never forgot that. And so he took this instruction that his Guru gave to him as his life and soul. And later on, some of the senior disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, they said, this instruction was not only given to our Srila Prabhupada. This was very much the goal of Saraswati Thakur. And he had given this instruction to many others also before him. And he personally sent some of his disciples abroad also. But none of them succeeded. So why did Prabhupada succeed? Any guesses? We can only guess because we really do not know. By seeing Prabhupada, we don't know about the others. But by seeing Prabhupada, we know that Vyavasayatmika buddhi is what makes it happen. Surrendering to the instructions of the Guru. We say Vapu Seva, Vani Seva. Vapu Seva is a very fortunate thing. Srila Prabhupada wrote sometime in the year 1936 to his spiritual master that There are so many brahmacharis and sannyasis who are staying with you. They are serving you directly. But I am a grihastha. I have various responsibilities. I don't have the opportunity to serve you. So what should I do? His guru said, go to the Western speaking world and preach. He repeated that instruction. What instruction was given to him in the first meeting, 1922? That instruction was repeated by his guru in 1936, just before his passing, few days before his passing. And he said, you should write books in English language. In between, when they met in Vrindavan, on the banks of Radhakund, his guru repeated the same instructions. Print books. Whenever you get many, print books. I made a mistake in building the Bagh Bazaar mutt because now it is on fire. My disciples are warring with each other on who will get the bigger room, who will get the room with a better view, with the view of Ganga, like that. He says, if I have a choice now, I will remove each marble stone and sell it and use it to print books. His guru was so much attached to printing books, actually. He did write many books, print and distribute. He had his own printing presses. And his printing press was installed right behind the deity room. Right behind the deity room, he installed the printing presses. People complained, what is this? Krishna will be disturbed. The presses are making so much noise. Not today's smooth electronic machines. No, all those were mechanical machines. Make huge noises. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, no, this is music to Krishna. If it stops only, he will be disturbed. If the presses are running, he'll be very happy. So this is the mood of a pure devotee. This is how there is complete matching of minds. They know what Krishna wants. And they're only serving Krishna's interests. They're not serving their own interests. They're only trying to make Krishna happy. So this is all amazing. So Utsaha, Nishchaya, Dhairya, we read in the book Upadeshamrut. But here is the person. We are reading every day the story of Utsaha, Nishchaya, Dhairya. How much patience Prabhupada had. He went to America at the age of 1969. The age of 69 years. Right? 69 was going to be over. He was going to enter 70 while he was on the ship. That is patience. Nothing had clicked till then. He had given up his business. He had given up his family. He had given all his time to preaching. Still nothing happened. He had now become a penniless pauper. Neither the family cared for him, nor the people to whom he preached cared for him, nor the government whom he tried to impress. Array, I am doing a job which will restore the glory of India. India has this duty to the world. Bharat Bhumi is the land of virtue. This is the land of dharma. This is the land of spiritual consciousness. We have a duty to spread it. The whole world will come to us. But no, our governments, whether it is Jawaharlal Nehru or Indira Gandhi, they are interested in imitating the West. They are trying to catch up with the West. Whereas Prabhupada is talking about India becoming the leader for the world. I don't know. It's all speculation. But had it been attempted seriously from the time of independence, now we can have a different world altogether. But anyway, everything happens by the Krishna's will. But then someone like Senapati Bhakta, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, my Senapati Bhakta will come and spread it throughout the world. And who would imagine Senapati Bhakta? When you say Senapati Bhakta, what you will imagine? Oh, he'll be a very powerful person, very tall, well-built, very strong, and very powerful. And he will go with an army and he will conquer the world and he will make them Krishna conscious. But here is one diminutive old man of 70 years going with poor health and with no help at all. He is never noticed. He is ignored everywhere. But he is the Senapati Bhakta. Krishna Senapati Bhakta. Just imagine what kind of a God Krishna is. He calls him the Senapati Bhakta, the commander-in-chief of Chaitanya's army. And that's what he is. So this is something with material eyes, we cannot see and understand these things. This is completely, Prabhupada would always say, when you see a reflection of a tree in the water, it is always upside down. What is on top appears to be at the bottom. So like that, Krishna's measures are different. They are not the kind of yardsticks with which we measure. So let us enter this now. First, I have put a small quote of Allen Ginsberg. I have also paraphrased it. Amazingly, he says Allen Ginsberg, who was a poet of the 1950s, he was a poet of the hippie movement. These are people who encouraged the experimenting with LSD. There was one scientist who invented LSD, and there were a whole lot of people who supported LSD. They were preaching to the youngsters of those days that if you want to expand your consciousness and you want to experience what is God and what is spirituality, you should experiment with drugs. So they were the leaders of that society. Allen Ginsberg and this Leary, Professor Leary, he was another leader. He was the one who invented LSD. And in such a situation, Allen Ginsberg started attending Prabhupada's classes in the early days, in the very early days in 26 Second Avenue. He started attending. He developed a great respect for Prabhupada. But he was not again very serious. He understood something in his own way, but he's giving a eulogy to Srila Prabhupada. He says, Srila Prabhupada installed a perfect piece of ancient India in the US. Perfect piece of ancient India, which means authentic, bona fide, not something contrived, not something artificial. He transplanted India into USA, a original, authentic, Vedic India was transplanted. He adorned a storefront. A storefront, what you see in the picture, it's a storefront, nothing more. It's a multi-storied building. The ground floor is all storefront. Actually, there are two storefronts. What we see, 26 Second Avenue, there are two storefronts having doors next to each other and huge window, show window. No, like on the show window, it is written Master's Gifts. So he says he adorned a storefront as ashram. That's all. It was only a storefront converted into ashram. And he adored Krishna there. He was worshipping Krishna in that place. By patience, which he had unlimited, good humor, he was able to never get upset with people. He would get upset if it is required as part of the treatment, but he's not really upset. He knows what will appeal to who. So he will use that, but he's always in good humor and singing and chanting and expounding Sanskrit phrases. Prabhupada will give classes. It will be filled with Sanskrit phrases, Sanskrit shlokas. It is not to show off, but it is a way he has been trained. A bona fide acharya never speaks his own words. He always speaks the scripture. And he never thinks that I am a grateful. He's always quoting scripture and he's always quoting his parampara acharyas. So where is my credit? They will never quote their own words. They will always think, no, you should never say whatever occurs to you. In fact, Prabhupada would strongly object when somebody says, I think. If someone gives a philosophy, paraphrasing, I think it is like this. I think there was a big bang. I think everything evolved out of matter. This pink business, Prabhupada would hate. Similarly, when somebody tried to give a name for Bhakti Vedanta Research Institute, BVRI, Bhakti Vedanta Research, Prabhupada said, no, where is the research? There's no need for research. It's all done. This is the kind of faith we need to have. Prabhupada never encouraged research. Prabhupada said it is there. The scriptures are already given. What research you can do? As human beings, we are all full of 4 defects. We are incapable of doing original research. We will always make mistakes. We will always cheat. Our senses are always limited. And we don't have a far sight. We cannot see what is ahead. We cannot understand the transcendental with our mental speculation. So, Prabhupada would always say, take it from the scriptures. So, like that, Prabhupada is always quoting Sanskrit texts while giving classes. So, he is remembering that Allen Ginsberg, even though they did not understand, those sound, that original Vedic sound, it makes a big difference. It creates such wonderful atmosphere. It purifies, it sanctifies the entire atmosphere. So he's remembering all those things. And he says, by doing it every day, Prabhupada established Krishna consciousness in the psychedelic center of East America. It was a psychedelic center in those days. Everybody was on LSD. Everybody was experimenting with free sex and drugs and music. They were creating all kinds of things. That's all. In that place, Prabhupada established Krishna consciousness. Then he quotes one more. He says, to choose to attend to Lower East Side. So Lower East Side is the part of New York where he settled down, 26 Second Avenue, and before that, the Bowery. These are Lower East Side of New York. He says, what kindness and humility. And finally, he says, intelligence. Unless someone is humble, why he will go to such a place? Because you remember earlier also, Michael Grant was always quoting like this, that I had visited other Swamijis in other places. It was always in a posh locality, in a posh ashram, with posh furniture, and people carrying pipes and all. They will be sitting back, old men, very wealthy gentry. They will be sitting there in coat suits and ties, and they will be listening. And this is what I had seen, he says. But this is the first time I'm seeing a Swamiji in such poverty. He says, this poverty appealed to me. He was a Sanskrit scholar, a bona fide, authentic scholar, Pandit, Vedic Pandit. But he's living in such humility, in such poverty. So he thought, definitely he has an important message to give, and he took it seriously. So that's why he's telling, instead of going to the posh locality, he has come here. So what kindness? And these young people, they are all poor people and young, they don't know anything. And humility, even though he's 70 years old, and all these children are 20 years old, 15 to 20, 25 years old, but still very humbly he's addressing their needs. Whatever questions they ask, he's answering. He's not speaking from a height saying, you listen to me. You don't know anything. I will teach you. He's not like that. He's so humble. And on top of that, he says intelligence. Why intelligence? Because this was the best place to start. That we will see in the coming slide. But you should remember, here he is wrong. Allen Ginsberg is wrong. Because Prabhupada did not use his intelligence to come to Lower East Side. It was not that Prabhupada used his intelligence to come here. We will see in the coming slides. So this temple is on the 2nd Avenue, which is the main arterial road to East Manhattan. Very, very busy road. Always. Hare Krishna, I think are you hearing me, or are you hearing the noise?
Yes, Prabhuji. No disturbance. Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So, such a busy road, there is always pollution, noise pollution, and there is smoke from early morning to late night. In fact, 24 hours there is traffic on that. And also, very near to where Prabhupada is staying, there is a traffic signal. So in the traffic signal, vehicles will come to a halt. And again, when the signal changes, they'll be accelerating. And so there'll be a noise of screeching and accelerating, honking in impatience. All this will be going on. Such a busy place. And that is where Prabhupada is living. That is, imagine such a location for a temple where he is going to give class. He was not having a loudspeaker. He was not having a mic. How can you speak in such an atmosphere? And these people have to be taught everything from scratch. It's not that they know something. He has to teach them from scratch. And there's so much noise coming from outside, so much disturbance. And this is the very first temple of ISKCON. And Prabhupada would not allow them to close the door. If they close the door, Prabhupada said, why are you closing? Open it. Somebody may come in at any stage. At the beginning, they may come for kirtan, they may come for lecture, they may come for question answer, they may come for a little prasada, whatever. But keep it open. So they would keep it open. All the noise will be filtering in, not filtering in, coming directly in. And Prabhupada will be giving class. Imagine this. So this is what was happening. And the storefront itself, we call it a temple. It was not a temple. It was a bare hall. You open that narrow door, front door, which is a glass sheet is there, and you open, long hall, and yet there is a small closet, a toilet is there. And this is the bare room, wooden floor, drab walls. That's all. It was nothing more than that. And there was a small platform for sitting, because the storefront is a show window. There is a small elevated platform where probably the shopkeeper would be sitting. And then Prabhupada's residential quarters was two two flights of stairs up, second floor, where he had 3 rooms. In one room, the deep inside room, he set up he put a small cushion, he put his trunk in front, and on the trunk he mounted what? What is on the top of the trunk? Always?
Srimad Bhagavatam.
Typewriter.
Typewriter.
Yes. So Prabhupada has this trunk, old iron trunk that he keeps in front, and that becomes his podium. And on that he puts the typewriter, and by the side he keeps the book with various commentaries of acharyas, that Bhagavatam he keeps by the side. And so many manuscripts he has already handwritten or typed. They are all wrapped in saffron cloth, and it is inside one cupboard. So inside the cupboard he is keeping the sheets. On the trunk he is keeping the typewriter. By the side he is keeping the book. Now this is his office. And he has hung one calendar of Gopala Krishna, one calendar he brought from India. He has hung it there. And inside there is one room. And in that room there is a marble tabletop. On that he has put the Panchatattva picture, which is his place of worship, which is his temple. And this is his living quarters where he lives. He is working, meaning typing, and worshipping. This is his place. And downstairs is his temple where he will do the preaching work. So at the appointed time, he will come down, he will take classes. Classes are over, he will go back. This is what was happening. So this is how simply Srila Prabhupada is living. Whatever shopping required, Prabhupada would personally go out into the shops and buy things, but he was very happy. When Prabhupada first came to America, he thought, I have to live on potatoes and rotis at best. He didn't know what he will get there other than that. But then Prabhupada found everything. In the Chinatown, there are some shops, there is a Little Italy. I have never seen these things, these are mentioned in the book. So these places he will go find some shops, and anything he needed, he was able to get. Vegetables, spices, condiments, anything he needed for cooking, he would get. He would get the same rice, same wheat, anything he wanted. So Prabhupada is very happy. This problem is solved. So this is how the first temple initially looked. Now a little bit of history about this lower east side. What is the history of this lower east side? In the 1840s, actually, waves of immigration has happened here. Waves of immigration, starting from the 1840s. So the first wave, Irish farmers who were suffering from a potato famine. I don't know what it means. Some kind of potato famine must have happened in Ireland. So they left the place and they came and settled here. Many thousands of them, poor people, poor farmers. They came to America for starting some farming. So they created a slum here, ghetto. Poor people were settling in this area where Prabhupada is right now there. So they settled there. Because accommodation was cheap here. You remember the loft, the big loft. Large area will be given, rent will be less. Not much furnishing, but you will be able to live. So like that. So the first wave was Irish farmers. Then 1860s, the Germans came migrating again on ships, thousands of them. And they saw only the Irish farmers. We all know that initially America was Red Indians, but Red Indians had been dispatched. So now waves of settlers are coming. So 1860s, the Germans came. And in 1900s, Jews came. Poor Jews, Poles, Ukrainians. Poles mean Polish people, Ukrainians. Large numbers of these people are there, even in New York. So they all formed a massive slum. And in 1950s, Puerto Rico people and Negroes who were already in America, they came to this place, all because cheap accommodation. The life, it's a struggle everywhere else, but here they could somehow survive. Like that they came. Very, very difficult living for all these people. So these are the waves of immigration that have happened here before. But then in 1960s, a different kind of immigration was happening. An unusual wave. This is also immigration, but it is an unusual wave of immigration because this wave came and it grew very fast, and then within a few years it disappeared. It came in 1960s, early 60s, It grew like a huge wave and then disappeared. Many people have done, anthropologists, they have done research on this. Why this happened? And these immigrants, initially the wave of immigrants were in the age of 20s to maximum 30 years old. This kind of immigration of young people from all over America, not from other countries, within America they came. And they settled here in the poverty of Lower East Side. They came from wealthy backgrounds. The American middle class was just being created around that time after the Second World War. Second World War ended in 1944, and America became the hero of the Second World War. Even though America never initially participated, America followed a glorious isolation policy. Eisenhower said, glorious isolation. We will not participate in the war. We will remain neutral. But they were forced to enter into the war. But when they entered decisively. When the Japanese attacked the Pearl Harbor, Americans retaliated very powerfully by dropping atom bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. With that, the war came to an end. The Germans, the Italians, the Japanese, they all surrendered. So America emerged as the hero. Even though the Allied powers, the France was there, England was there, Russia was there, but the real hero was America. And America's military might was acknowledged the world over. Then America also emerged as the greatest trading center, manufacturing center. And you can imagine the government had a very liberal policy of encouraging enterprise. There were low taxes and government was supporting the people very powerfully. And so a huge middle class emerged. People were suddenly rolling in wealth. You don't imagine our lower middle class, middle class kind of people. American middle class means they really built the nation. Very, very wealthy people. But their children were the ones who are migrating to Lower East Side. Lower East Side is a poor area, which is a slum. But these people were coming there, rejecting the affluence of their parents. They were rejecting. They were looking for something real. They found their parents' life hypocritical, unreal, very showy, very nothing deep, very shallow. They were disappointed with. The parents were ready to shower the children with money. Whatever they wanted, they were ready to give, except they cannot give time. The parents are busy earning money and enjoying life. They did not have time for their children. And the children were finding their life as absolutely meaningless. There was a calling. Somehow they felt there is some meaning in life, which these people don't know. We will discover that. Definitely we reject their way of life. We don't want this life. And they were migrating to, why to Lower East Side? Rents were cheap because they don't want to depend on father's support. They don't want to have money. They want to live by themselves. They were interested in art. They were interested in music. You remember the first wave was musicians, artists and musicians. You saw them in the Bowery, in all the lofts. They were all artists. They were singers in the clubs. They were musicians playing various instruments. These are the first wave of immigration. And they were mostly older, 20, 25 older people. Then further waves happened. These were younger people. They followed the older people, 15 years and above. Thousands of them. They came and congregated in this Lower East Side. So this is, even though many people have tried to explain it, they have been unable to explain. This is what the book says. This was an unusual composition of immigrants, not poor people coming from other countries looking for some way to eke out a livelihood. Not like that. Here they have all the money back home, but they've rejected that and they've come here. So this is unusual. The locals are not happy with this immigration. Locals are thinking, we came out of compulsion for eking out a living. But these people have a wealthy background. Why they have come? They just want to make fun of us or like that. So there was a tension also. And the young children who came here, they have no money actually. They are living such a barren life. Just by rejecting the parents' way of life, they have come here. They have music, they have drugs, they have free sex, but there's not even food for them. They're all struggling. They don't know. They have not seen the world really. They have simply rejected the parents' way of living. That's all. So this is where Prabhupada has come. So that is why Allen Ginsberg said, what kindness, what humility, and what intelligence. Because these are the people The young people, they have energy, they have the power, they can, if they really get convinced about something, because they're looking for meaning in life. So when someone is looking for meaning in life and someone comes to give it in a very appealing way, then that is a perfect match. So that's why he's saying intelligence. But this is not the intelligence of Prabhupada. He never planned it this way. Yeah, it happened like that. So this is the interplay of the Guru's order and Krishna's will. Prabhupada simply executing Guru's order. And Guru's order brought him to America, to Boston, to New York, to the studio of Ramamurthy Mishra. Then he shifted out of that into another flat. Then someone took him to the Bowery. Prabhupada lived on the 5th floor of the Bowery. And from there, now he had to run out to save his life from David Allen, the drug addict. And then they have found him a place in 26 Second Avenue. Even he did not find it. Michael Grant found it for him. And Carl Jurgen and Michael Grant. And this is where Prabhupada is. So Prabhupada says, I came to USA on Guru's order. But now, my coming to the Lower East Side in New York is by Krishna's will. There is no other explanation. Krishna knew, like Prabhupada, Prabhupada wrote the song in Jaladuta, calling himself a puppet. Krishna, I am a puppet. And you make me dance. I am here as a puppet. I have no independent will at all. If you lift my right hand will go up. If you lift my left hand will go up. That's all. I am a toy in your hands, Krishna. Because I know you have you are the well-wisher of everyone. You have brought me here. I don't know why you have brought me here. This is all in the song. I don't know why you brought me here. But Krishna, definitely you should have a purpose. Otherwise, why you would have brought me? Definitely you should have a purpose. And all these people are steeped in tamogun and rajogun, the modes of passion and ignorance. How will they understand your transcendental message? Unless you put the power into my words, and unless you put the ability to understand in the hearts of these people, how can I even do this? I have neither bhakti nor I have Vedanta. I am simply a useless beggar. If you want to fulfill this title, what has been given to me by my God brothers, you make it happen. But I am simply a toy in your hands. That's the mood of Srila Prabhupada. So, Prabhupada himself was surprised when he came to Lower East Side and he saw thousands and thousands of young people from good backgrounds, good education, with wealthy parents who love them, rejecting everything and coming and accepting a life of poverty with a genuine spirit of seeking in their heart. There is seeking. That seeking is genuine, but there is no guidance. See, there is a deep faith within that there is some meaning in life. There is truth somewhere. Our parents are not living the truth. The world we see, which is only seeking sense gratification and accumulation of wealth, they don't know the truth. We don't want to be part of that. So by rejecting that, they knew that they were doing the right thing. That rejecting this materialistic way of life, we are doing the right thing. But after that, they don't know what. They have rejected this materialistic way. But after that, only music, what they know, the music, the arts, free sex, they called it brotherhood of humanity. And through music, you want to express it. And then the drugs came on the scene. Apart from intoxication with liquor, the LSD and other drugs came. And people are telling these are mind expanders. It will give you a spiritual experience. And there were teachers. This Professor Timothy Leary, he was the inventor of LSD. And these people like Allen Ginsberg, they were the leaders of those youngsters. They were teaching them how to use the drugs in such a way that it will give you a spiritual experience. Prabhupada never approved of all these things. Prabhupada straight away said, this is all nonsense. You cannot find God through drugs. It will only degrade you. But then that was going on. So, Prabhupada was surprised. How come 1% rejecting, 2% rejecting is fine? But so many people rejecting at the same time, and they all have come here like a flock of birds migrating. Huge flock of birds, like that, they have come and swooped down on this place. Or migration of wild animals, when there is a drought in some place or flood, they migrate, in large numbers in one place. Like that, they have come. Prabhupada is surprised. So how Krishna is moving the coins? It is not that we should not imagine for a moment that Krishna has made everything easy for Prabhupada. It's not. This is in a post facto analysis, we are saying all these things. But imagine uh, drug addicts are coming and they don't know anything about India, they don't know anything about the Vedic culture, they don't know anything about ethical way of living, they don't know about marriage, they are simply living together, they are thinking free sex and drugs are the way to God. How they will accept you? It's not that now everything is, given in a golden plate to Prabhupada, Krishna is handing over. Not like that. We should not understand like that. But Krishna is fulfilling the needs of these people who are seeking in his own way by sending them the Guru. These are the people who are seeking. And Krishna brought them all to this place. And he sent Srila Prabhupada, the most genuine answer to their seeking. So, like that, it happened. So, Prabhupada never planned the timing nor the place of his movements. He had not studied the youth movements in America before coming here or after coming here. He did not think, oh, Lower East Side is the best place to be because so many hippies are there. No. Now we can say 100 things on the basis of what we know now. But who would have chosen to go there? For that matter, none of the preachers from India went to that place except Srila Prabhupada. All the preachers from India were talking to the posh, wealthy widows, like that Michael Grant was telling once. They are having a very comfortable life. Who would come here? So now we remember Prabhupada has already moved many places. And in every place, there were a few people coming to him. Some of them were serious, others were one-time visitors, some curiosity. So every place where Prabhupada moved, he was making new acquaintances, right? New people were coming. And most of the old people who were coming into the previous place, they would disappear. Only a few people would continue into the new place. And in the new place, he would make new acquaintances. And there would be again a lot of people coming, few people staying. This was happening wherever Prabhupada went. And everywhere, a few people would come, just do the needful so that Prabhupada can settle down, and most of them will be gone after. Like that, we have seen already some names. So, apart from that, one-time visitors, just out of curiosity, just to have a big argument, just to challenge him, just to show that I know better than you. Like that, many people would come. But Prabhupada never rejected any of them. He would patiently talk to them. But a few new people who came and observed everything, they stayed. They remained with Prabhupada. They did not go away. So let us see a few names. Bill Epstein, anyone remembers this name? Bill Epstein. He was one of the workers, managers, like in a restaurant, Paradise restaurant, where we came to know from morning to evening, people can go there. You can stay there as long as you want. You can order even a cup of tea, or you don't have to order anything. You can spend the whole time there. So it became a meeting point for all kinds of hippies, for the people who migrated to New York recently. They would come and sit there, make gossip, the artists, the musicians, all kinds of people would come there. They would take a bite and then go on gossiping, and then they will leave. And this Bill Epstein was attracted to Srila Prabhupada because another person had introduced Prabhupada to him. That person's name is Cohen. So now Bill Epstein is now following Prabhupada steadily. So he's from the olden days, from very early days. Now these are a few people who came now in 26 Second Avenue. The names are Howard Wheeler, Keith. I don't have his full name. This is the name by which I know him in the book, Keith. and Valley and Chuk. These people, now we will talk about these four people in little more detail. Howard Wheeler was about 26 years old. He was an English professor working in a prestigious college in New York, and he was interested in Indian philosophy. He even visited India. One day, he was going to meet one of his friends and he was walking on the road, and suddenly he saw one saffron clad sannyasi walking on the other side of the road. Immediately, his eyes caught him and he stopped. And the Swamiji also saw him and he also stopped. Immediately, they moved towards each other. Swamiji smiled and asked him, this man asked him, Howard asked him, are you from India? Prabhupada replied, yes. And are you also from India? Then this man said, no, but I have visited India, like that. Then Prabhupada spoke to him about his own purpose of coming to America, and he showed him where he is staying. And he said, I am having my regular classes. You can start attending my classes. You can visit me anytime you want. I can give you spiritual guidance, like that. And Howard was very impressed. He never went to meet his friend. He came for that purpose, but after coming to Prabhupada, he went back to his room. He was actually sharing the room with three other people, Kate, Valley, and Chuk. So these are the four people staying in the room. And Howard Wheeler said, I met a Swamiji from India. He's very interesting. He's very genuine. He's a genuine scholar of Sanskrit and the scriptures. And he's having classes. We should go there. And everybody agreed. So Howard Wheeler is already interested in Eastern philosophy. Keith is the son of a Christian priest having a prosperous church. Of course, he has come away from his home and he's staying here alone. He is about 30 years old. He is one of the oldest followers of Prabhupada, earliest follower and also oldest follower. Others were much, much, much younger. And Chuk was interested in Buddhist philosophy, and Valley was generally not that much interested in spirituality, but he was interested in the arts and things like that. So these people started visiting 26 Second Avenue regularly. They started going regularly. They started attending the program of Prabhupada fully. Half an hour of kirtan, 45 minutes of class, question and answers, another half an hour of kirtan, all about 2 hours long. They would go and they would watch Prabhupada giving classes. Prabhupada would come down from upstairs, at the appointed time. He would give classes and then he would go back up. And these people were watching. And they saw how Prabhupada was living. Such a simple, very basic kind of life. They saw how in so much poverty he was giving these teachings to others. The temple was in utter poverty. But Prabhupada was, they watched him very closely. They also watched him, how he deals with the visitors, how patiently, how humbly, how compassionately he's dealing with them, and how genuinely Prabhupada is approaching their problems. When someone comes with some problem, Prabhupada will very clearly give the answer in terms of the symptoms of this age, why we are suffering, from where our struggles are coming from, and what is the solution, which is to become Krishna conscious. Prabhupada would tell the same thing very genuinely, very passionately, with logic to everyone. And these people were gradually getting impressed by Srila Prabhupada. One day, what happened was they were all sitting in the class like this. Suddenly, one drunken man walked in. Door is always open. Drunken man walked in and he started walking towards Prabhupada. Everybody sitting, showing the back to the entrance door, and Prabhupada is facing the entrance door, and this man is walking towards Prabhupada. He's reeking of liquor, and he's walking, everybody is watching. Prabhupada is taking serious class. That man is talking, mumbling something, and he's walking towards Prabhupada. Prabhupada told him, we are having a serious class, don't disturb. But that man did not stop. He went up to Prabhupada. Then he said, okay, I will come back. Like that, he said something, he went out again. After a few minutes, he again came back. During this time, Prabhupada was talking about service. about serving God, about serving humanity, about serving being the nature of all living entities. Everyone wants to serve, like the Prabhupada is giving a class, and he's talking about the perfection of service as serving God in love. In the meantime, this old man came in, gray hair, old man. He came. Again, he was stumbling and he was again walking, mumbling something, and he went all the way to the toilet, which is behind Prabhupada. He went there, he put some toilet paper in the toilet, 2 rolls, and then he came to the wash basin. Again, he get some paper rolls there, and then some extra ones he put it under the sink. And then that's all. He looked at Prabhupada and he walked away. He did not stay, that's all gone. Everybody was wondering. Prabhupada was laughing. He said, see, this is a spirit of service. He has the desire to serve. And see, in his own way, he has done service. So all these people were watching these young people, Howard, Kate, and all these people. And they thought, this temple is looking too plain. We will decorate it. Because now the mood of serving is coming up in their heart naturally. So they went back to their quarters and they removed all the curtains. They nicely washed them. It was full of dirt, like the water became black. They cleaned it nicely and they brought all the curtains here and they hung it on the walls, on the wall. Prabhupada is not there. Prabhupada is in his room. While Prabhupada is upstairs, they are doing the decoration. And behind Prabhupada's sitting place, they dropped a nice curtain behind as a backdrop to Prabhupada. And they made a dais for Prabhupada to sit on, an elevated bench sort of thing. They created by themselves. And they covered it with some velvet cloth, whatever was available with them. They did that. And then they brought all the paintings, pictures, whatever they had bought from different sources. Even Howard had brought something from India. So they came and hung it all on the walls. They were having a fear inside whether Prabhupada will approve these pictures and all that. They did not know. Simply, one man was playing drums and somebody was dancing like that. There was one picture. In another picture, simply one lady was standing. In another picture, somebody who looked neither like a man nor an animal was carrying a mountain in his hand and he was standing there in a flying posture. And in another picture, they saw one man in a bent position and having 6 hands. In 2 hands, he was having a bow and arrow. Another 2 hands, he was having a flute. Another 2 hands, he was having a danda and a water pot. They did not know, but they hung that picture also. So, and they lit some incense just before it was time for Prabhupada to come. And by the time Prabhupada came down, they were waiting with bated breath what Prabhupada would say. So Prabhupada came and he saw the decorations in the room. His eyes widened and he looked at the boys and smiled a broad smile. And he said, very nice. And the boys became very happy. They thought, oh, we have pleased our Swamiji. Then they were also smiling, laughing to themselves, looking at each other. Then Prabhupada went and sat on the elevated platform they had created. And they were afraid it may break because they are not very expert, trained carpenters. They have just made something. But then Prabhupada sat on it and Prabhupada became grave. The boys immediately became grave also. They realized he's our spiritual master and we are students. We should not be flippant and casual. They also became very serious. Then Prabhupada smiled a warm smile again. And all these boys immediately bloomed in a pleasant smile. So you see the interaction happening now. This is what actually should happen between a guru and a disciple. The disciple should become totally surrendered to the guru. The disciple's happiness and everything comes from the guru. Guru's happiness is the happiness of the disciple. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasad. When the guru is pleased, that means Krishna is pleased with the disciple. So Prabhupada has not taught them all these things in detail, but it is happening because of Prabhupada being such a pure devotee. By staying in his association, these things are automatically coming up. And Prabhupada is very happy because this is making them ripe for teaching. When you have the right kind of relationship, a loving, respectful, trusting relationship with your guru, then you are ready to receive the message. Otherwise, it may remain as a philosophy in the head. Now you are opening your heart, and Guru can plant the seed right into your heart. So this is what is happening. Amazing thing, no? Suddenly a temple has come up. They are lighting incense and the room is looking very good. And two more boys came to stay with Prabhupada. Their names are Don and Raphael. These two people were looking for accommodation. They were poor people. They were looking for some place to stay. Someone told them, you can stay in Prabhupada's house because he's alone there and you can stay there. Prabhupada will not mind. So they came and stayed here. During the day, they would go out and wander. But by evening, they would come. Night, they will stay here only. And they started doing little jobs. Like some visitors are coming, they will talk to them. If they want to have in some philosophical questions, they would send them right away to Prabhupada. Because these two boys said, we don't know anything about philosophy. That any question he can answer like that. And they would maintain the place. Night, they will switch off the lights and all those things. Sometimes Prabhupada would see from his room that from the second floor that the lights are on here in the bathroom. Then Prabhupada would come down all the way and he would chastise them. This is Krishna's energy. You should not waste. And he would personally switch off the lights and go. At that time, Prabhupada would say, sometimes 10 people, 15 people will be lying on the floor. From where they came, where they go, you don't know. These two boys are also, free boarders. So anyone who is looking for accommodation, they'll say, okay, you can come sleep. And when they want to take bath, where they will take bath? There is one bathroom Prabhupada is using. In the same bathroom, they will take bath. So this is what was going on. And one day, Michael Grant visited this place. You will remember Michael Grant. He is the one who found this place for Prabhupada. He paid the first month's rent also by collecting from Carl, Eargun, and other people. At the time of paying the rent, he thought, 1 month rent I have paid, next month I cannot pay. Swamiji should manage. How he will manage? But now Michael Grant came and saw the temple is transformed. Nice curtains, nice seat for Prabhupada with velvet covering, incenses are burning, there are cushions and mats on the floor, nice wall hangings. And he thought, now Swamiji has settled down. Now there will be no problem. So Michael Grant was surprised that so quickly Prabhupada has settled down into this new place. So now the temple manifests when there are devotees, right? So here is the devotees, the first set of devotees. They have already decorated the temple, and the Swamiji is visiting hours, morning 6 a.m. to night 10 p.m. He will be working, but if anybody walks in, he will stop his typing work and he will talk to them. So this is what was going on all day, and the temple's ambience had greatly improved. Even though it is still a very plain temple only, but still there is when someone enters, they will feel that here is a temple like that. And around this time, one Stephen Goldsmith started coming to Prabhupada's classes. He's not a hippie. He's a Jewish lawyer, prosperous man. He has a family, wife and 2 children. But someone told him that Prabhupada is interested in incorporating a spiritual movement in New York. So he is interested in spiritual movement. So he started coming. But he liked Prabhupada's classes and he started coming regularly. And Prabhupada would talk to him, and together they were drafting the document for registering ISKCON. Of course, Prabhupada wrote everything. He only told Prabhupada what details must be there in the document. Right? So Prabhupada wrote the objectives. You remember League of Devotees? Prabhupada wrote the objectives. Very similar objectives are here for ISKCON also. For League of Devotees, he wrote sometime in the 1940s, 1950. Nothing has changed. Now, same thing. Whether it was in Jhansi or whether it is in New York, it is the same thing. Objectives, an international movement for spreading Krishna consciousness, to bring devotees together, to give them a place for practicing their Krishna consciousness together, to preach a simple way of life in a way that God will be at the center, God-centered life, and to print literature and widely distribute so that this philosophy can reach out to maximum number of people, and to train children into the Vedic way of life so that they can develop spirituality from a very early age. Like that, these objectives are there, those 7 objectives. So with that, Stephen Goldsmith one day came and he said, we are now ready to register. We need to identify the trustees and we should take their names, addresses, and signatures. Prabhupada said, go ahead. He looked at the room and he said, yes, all of you, Don, Raphael, Roy, you give your names and addresses and sign. Everybody was willing to sign the document. These are the first members and trustees of ISKCON. You will see the names. Whether any name sounds Hindu, I leave it for you to decide. One name definitely, Abhay Charanaranda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The other names are Michael Grant, Jan, that is a girlfriend of Michael Grant, James Green, and there is Paul Gardner, then there is Don, then there is Raphael. These are the names, founder members of ISKCON. So if anyone says ISKCON is a Hindu movement, what is our answer? These are all Jews and Christians mostly. Yeah. Only Prabhupada was the Indian member, can say Hindu member, right? So these are the original founders of ISKCON. So none of them knew what they were signing. And they were wondering, what is this society? We have only the storefront and we are having our regular classes. Swamiji is giving classes. Where is the need for registering this society? And also, what is this international society? We have only one small place and that is in New York. Where is this international? But still they signed to make Prabhupada happy. And this became the headquarters. 26 Second Avenue was given as the headquarters of this society. But the society is not only this, it's an international society for Krishna consciousness. So if you will recollect, one metro conductor by name Reuben had told the authors of this book that one day I was sitting in the park bench and the Swamiji was also sitting there. And I started talking to him. I saw him as a very serious, godly person. So I asked him who he was. Then he told me, oh, we have a big movement with us. We have many temples all over the world, and there are thousands of devotees, and we have many books. Only time is separating us. So that Reuben recollected. So Prabhupada always knew this is going to happen. So when Prabhupada is incorporating ISKCON, he knows. And when Prabhupada is seeing this Kate and Chuk and Valley and Howard Wheeler, Prabhupada knows Krishna is sending these people for whatever purpose. Krishna will know. That complete faith Prabhupada is always had. Whatever happens, it is by Krishna's arrangement. So like that, Stephen Goldsmith was sent by Krishna to register the ISKCON movement. Now see what is happening further. Keith, the one of the four people, he vacated the place where he was staying with the other three boys and he moved to the temple, became very serious. He became a serious follower of Srila Prabhupada. He moved into the temple and he wanted to help Prabhupada. Prabhupada taught him cooking. So he took over the kitchen. He started making chapatis, not with rolling pin, with hand. Prabhupada taught him how to make. And so cooking was taken care. And he also became the housekeeper, very intelligent boy. I told you, he was the son of a Christian minister. Minister means those who preach in the churches. So he was a very cultured person. So he took over this responsibility. 30 years old, the oldest follower of Prabhupada at the time. And these four boys, whenever they meet, they would be only talking about their relationship with Swamiji, Swamiji, Swamiji. There, whatever they speak, it will be about Swamiji. They became so much mesmerized, mad, and they fell deeply in love with Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada became their life and soul because whatever seeking was in their heart and they did not know where to seek, here was Prabhupada giving not only philosophic teaching, but also love and making them really human beings. What is right, what is wrong, what should be done, what should not be done. So in such a mood, service automatically blossoms in the heart of these people. They want to serve, they want to serve, they want to serve. It is automatically happening. So Howard Wheeler, he went to Prabhupada and he said, how can I serve you? Prabhupada said, do you know typing? He said, yes, I am an English professor. I am good at English. So he said, you can do both typing and editing for me because I don't know your English language. I am an Indian. Whatever English I know, it's not very good. You do editing for me. He said, okay. Prabhupada gave him a set of papers, which is handwritten. He said, you can do the editing and typewrite it and bring it to me. So he went and did that and came back very happily and gave to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, I have done this. Is there anything more? Prabhupada said, yes. And then he opened one saffron cloth and from inside he took a big bundle of sheets. And he said, yes, this is waiting to be done. And when the man was looking, he went and opened the cupboard. The cupboard from top to bottom was filled with thousands and thousands of pages of both typed sheets and manuscript sheets. And Prabhupada said, then you can do this. Howard Wheeler said, work of a lifetime. Prabhupada said, yes, it is work of a lifetime. So here is one more person drafted into the movement, Howard Wheeler. So like that, the devotees are coming and taking up their service. You can understand, philosophy is one thing, but service is the real thing. To connect with the Guru and become a servant. You know already Vapu Seva, Vani Seva. It is a Vani Seva. If Vapu Seva is available, very good. If not available, Vani Seva is perfect. Vani Seva is available to everyone, anywhere, anytime, any place. So that is the power of service. So here it is happening. Okay. And these boys now become regular. And they also go to Prabhupada's room in the early morning, just about sunrise. There, Prabhupada is sitting with a very serious face and he is chanting. And these boys are sitting with him. And then there is a class for them. So like that, intimacy is growing between these people. Okay. Then Prabhupada then is giving evening classes. All kinds of people. The room gets filled up with all kinds of people. At the end of the class, one more boy is staying with Prabhupada by name Roy. He is there for a long time. He brings one plate, one apple, and one knife and gives it to Prabhupada. This is a ritual every evening. One plate, one apple, and one knife. And Prabhupada would take the knife and he would personally cut the apple into 2 halves, into 4, into 8, into smaller pieces. And then Prabhupada would take one piece and throw it into his mouth directly. And Prabhupada would be chewing. Then he would give the plate to Roy to distribute one piece to all the visitors. So prasadam distribution is essential. This is Krishna. So Prabhupada has taken Mahaprasad and that would be distributed everywhere. All kinds of people will come. Some people will real inquiry in their minds. Some people simply to challenge and to defeat. All kinds of people, Prabhupada would face them and patiently argue with them and defeat them. One day one boy came and said, I am God. Prabhupada said, oh, you are God. Please accept my obeisances. But I have some work to do. Can you please leave? That boy simply got up and left. Prabhupada had a way of dealing with all. He was never perturbed by any kind of visitor and any kind of question. And these boys were watching Keith, Valley, Howard, and they were getting more and more drawn towards Srila Prabhupada. Every little action of Prabhupada would attract them. The way Prabhupada sat erect in his Vyasasan, the way he gravely looked at the people, the way he smiled, the way he chanted in all seriousness, they were watching and they were becoming more and more drawn towards Srila Prabhupada. But still, as far as preaching goes, it is still a lone ranger. Prabhupada alone is a preacher. None of the others know anything deep. They are new. They are absolutely new to the Indian Vedic scriptures, to Krishna, and to the philosophy. They are absolutely new. Prabhupada is the only preacher. So if there is anybody to whom you have to preach or give some clarification, every time it is only Prabhupada. And also if anyone comes, they would also directly send them to Prabhupada. You go and ask him, he will answer. And Prabhupada is always willing. So now ISKCON has become a spiritual child. And all these new followers are stumbling infants who are depending on his guidance. So Prabhupada is taking responsibility for them. On the one side, he is creating a worldwide movement. He is preparing the books for that movement. On the other side, he has a handful of boys here who are becoming serious. And Prabhupada is guiding them, not only in philosophy, but in cooking, in maintaining the place, in shopping. Actually, Kate started doing shopping also. You remember till now, Prabhupada was going out for shopping. To go to the shops, buy the condiments, the vegetables, the grains and everything. Now he was doing the shopping also. He was taking over responsibilities from Prabhupada. They're doing nicely. And typing work, big responsibilities, manual to typing and editing, that Howard was doing. But not that Prabhupada's work has come down. There were always people coming and mostly to challenge. And Prabhupada would patiently defend Krishna, defeat Mayavad, defeat impersonalism, defeat atheism. Prabhupada was always like that busy. With every passing day, Prabhupada's work was increasing. Followers were also increasing, but at the same time, challenges were also only increasing. So, as a 70-year-old man, there was so much he could do and so much more. Whether he would be able to do, we cannot tell. Prabhupada would say, anytime I will go. And these boys would think, if Prabhupada goes, there is the end of everything. So, if Krishna is willing, I will live and do some more. But it's all up to Krishna. That's what Srila Prabhupada would say. So, with this, we come to the end of today's session. So, if you have any comments or questions, please. Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, pranams. Prabhuji, how can we know, Prabhuji, in our bhakti that whether we are pleasing our guru or displeasing our guru, Prabhuji? Like how can we build a deep bonding with our spiritual master, Prabhuji? So even after even after 3 years, we always pray to Krishna. So that Srila Prabhupada, we are not. I have not yet started, Prabhuji, praying like that. So
should. Actually, all the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, invariably you will find this quality in them. They worship Prabhupada, not Krishna. For each and everything in their life, their first expression of gratitude goes to Srila. Ultimately, it is Krishna only. But Krishna doesn't come to us directly. Krishna comes to us through a pure devotee only. It is actually Krishna. Right? Sakshad Haritvena Samasta Shastra Yukta. All Shastras say that spiritual master is Sakshat Krishna. That means Krishna whom you can see, Sa Akshat. By your eyes you can see. That Krishna you can see only in pictures. And we'll think it is only a picture, it is a vigraha, it's a metal, it's a wood. But here is in living flesh and blood, Sakshat Hari. That is how you see the Guru. And if you read Madhurya Kadambini of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, you will get much more explanation about when we have come to Krishna consciousness, how did we come? When we understand the Krishna consciousness philosophy, how did we understand? When we have developed some faith in Krishna, in the process, in the satsanga, etc., how did we get this faith? Everything is because of devotee only. Krishna does not allow you to come to him directly. Krishna has appointed his pure devotees as the via media to reach him. And Krishna says again and again, very vociferously, very powerfully, very strongly, that anyone who says he is my devotee is not my devotee. I may think I am Krishna's devotee, but Krishna doesn't think so. Krishna says it very clearly. He is not my devotee. But if anyone says he is the devotee of my devotee, I accept him as my devotee. This you will find the entire Vaishnava philosophy is like this. It is always Guru Sishya, Guru Sishya, Guru Sishya, Guru Sishya, Guru Sishya. And we always try to take the lowest position. We don't try to beat anyone. Oh, I am better than my Guru or I am better than my Guru's Guru. That mood is a sign of destruction. If anyone feels that, oh, my Guru is not very well educated, he gives some Krishna consciousness, he has studied some scriptures from his Guru, but I am much more educated, I am much more intelligent, I can speak better than my Guru. Then we know that means we are in the descending, we are leaving, we are already out of Krishna consciousness. It is the humility, the humble sense of surrender and gratitude to the spiritual master is the essence of our Krishna consciousness. So if every opportunity we have to meet a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, we should never miss. whether they are coming to our town or to a nearby town, they are giving a class, or if possible, at least on TV, on the screen, on the computer, we should be able to watch their lectures, classes. They describe how, and their books. They have so many books, how they have written. So everywhere the acharyas say that only through a devotee you can connect. Shraddha, the very beginning, Shraddha, it comes from devotee. Sukriti, Agyata Sukriti, only devotee can give it. So Krishna is the reservoir of bhakti. Krishna is the original source of bhakti. But he has given that license to his devotees. He says, you want to give to anyone, you can give. Bhakti, Bhagavan, if they want to give, they can give. They can give. So Amito Kangal, Krishna, Krishna bole, Dai Tava Pache Pache. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Krishna ke tomara. Krishna is yours. He's talking to spiritual master. Oh, hey, Vaishnava Thakur. To Vaishnava Thakur, he's singing, you are the spiritual master. And you have Krishna with you.